I'm Tony with bnetTV. We are here at Mobile World Congress 2013 in Barcelona. I am speaking with Mr. Tony Blake from Millenoki. How are you today, sir?
I'm very well, thank you, Tony.
Excellent. Thank you very much for coming on the show. For all of our first-time viewers and our regular bnetTV land folk, why don't you give us a brief overview of what Millenoki is and what you're doing here at Mobile World Congress?
Okay, well, Millenoki, our focus is mobile data control. So what we want to do is actually give the user some control over their own mobile data. So we've got a mobile data optimization solution called Data Squasher. Essentially, we put a control panel in the hands of the user. And if I can just point to this graphic here, Tony. Yep. Essentially, the three main data areas for a user are images, video, and audio. So down to low quality. And in fact, if the slider was able to move on this graphic over to here, you could actually switch off images altogether. That same principle is applied to video as well as audio. I think the key addition to what we're offering here is on the video and audio quality. These two are big data hogs, I think, in terms of people's data usage. So we're giving people control over their user experience and user experience on things like YouTube and any other sort of video outlet.
So I have two things to say. One is you are a very special guy because I never let anybody take this away from me. So that's pretty awesome. You're okay. Second of all, tell me a little bit about what this makes. How is this different necessarily from what the options that an iPhone gives us right now for when emailing or utilizing a photo? It gives you the option of what size you'd like to send. It doesn't necessarily do it in video, so that portion I understand, or audio. But audio as a whole isn't a big data user unless you're streaming all day long, which can be possible if you're listening to a Spotify and whatnot.
I think really in terms of
You stole my microphone.
I did it again.
Okay. It's all right.
I'm sorry about that, but in terms of what we want to do is let the user choose. So there's certain sort of video content. Maybe you're watching a sports event where you don't care too much for the audio. It's actually the images, the video you actually want to watch. Equally, if perhaps you're watching a speech by Barack Obama, perhaps you're not too keen on seeing his face. It's actually the words that become key. Some of my friends, they listen to music off of YouTube. So if they listen to music off of YouTube and they're on the cell network, they don't necessarily need to see the pictures. It's possibly the audio that they want to pick up on. So they've actually got the choice that they can make for themselves. I think the other thing, if I can add, the other key thing...
See how that control issue works? Okay, go ahead.
The other thing, if I can add, our focus is about control. And control sometimes is delivered by the control panel, and sometimes it's about the data that we're able to present to the user. So we give the user a highly granulated picture of how their data is being used. So we're actually breaking down their web usage over a period of time. We'll let them know how much of that data comes from text, how much from images. We're actually breaking down their app usage. There's a total figure, and actually breaking it down by individual apps. So we take that further. We give them background on email, background on video, background on secure content, and we give them some query tools as well. So they can look over a certain period of time and pick out perhaps when they're roaming, when they're in Barcelona. They can search the dates of MWC and they'd be able to tell exactly the number of megabytes they've used whilst they've been away, and identify where that data has been used on what applications.
All right, so now we're gonna give this back to me. You're not allowed to have this back anymore. Okay, so first of all, where do you see the majority of this application being utilized globally? Just because certain providers make you buy an all-you-can-eat package. As all-you-can-eat packages come down in price, is that going to affect necessarily? Yeah, I definitely understand it from a roaming perspective, no question about it. But that's question number one. And two, where do I get it? How much does it cost? Is it in the marketplace today?
Okay,
well, not allowed to have this back.
Okay. In terms of who we see actually using this, I mean, clearly there's a consumer audience here because it's an end user product. I guess the first thing I'd say is we're expecting those people with heavy data usage to actually want to pick this up and to get back some of that control. The second group that we think this has got value for is on the enterprise side. Businesses are spending more and more money on data, and what we're planning to do is move this across and give the opportunity for, say, IT managers to actually be able to track their employees' mobile data use and do it in quite a detailed fashion.
So inevitably, are you going to put a security measure in here that can lock this in place, and the only access can be driven either by the IT manager or a parent, for argument's sake?
Indeed it is. I mean, the thing to add there is twofold. The first is that it's a VPN connection, which makes it secure. So if you're in a coffee shop, if you're in Starbucks, for instance, and you want to log on to the server at work, you know that you've got a secure connection and you're not going to be hacked. The second is that we're actually recording not only your mobile cell data usage, but we're actually recording your Wi-Fi data usage as well. Now, we're not compressing it, but we're tracking it. So we're giving you a picture of where your data is being used. And in an enterprise sense, you can move that across the functionality here for the IT manager across to policy control. So we're back on, if I come back onto the roaming subject, if your sales director, your sales manager is, say, traveling to Germany, he may want to check, say, the latest baseball highlights and exactly what's happened whilst he's been away. Now, the IT manager may decide that watching baseball on a roaming tariff is not the best thing to do, so he's got the opportunity, back to this graphic, to actually set a maximum quality or even switch video and audio off whilst actually out of the country. So therefore, the policy control issue becomes a cost control opportunity as well.
So my final question to you is going to be, again, tell the users where it's available, how much does it cost, and inevitably what we're going to see from Millenoki here in the next 12 months.
Okay. We're planning to launch on iOS and Android. That's Ice Cream Sandwich 4 and Gingerbread at the back end of March. That will be the VPN version. We're planning a monthly subscription for users. We expect that to be under £1, so what's that, under $1.50 a month.
Fantastic. Okay, and what are we going to see from Millenoki at the end of the year?
We've got plans in terms of adding to product functionality. We've got iOS and Android, as I say, coming out. A few months after that, we'll have Windows Phone 7. Intent there is to cover the majority of getting up to close to 90% of smartphones. As it's a device-based solution, we need to cover the OSs to make it relevant and credible for the consumer, but also enterprises. There's also the opportunity for us to work with MVNOs and MNOs as well. So as an organisation, we're open to working with those guys on a white label or a license basis.
Tony, thanks very much for taking the opportunity to speak with us. Hope we get a chance for an update again in the future.
Okay, thanks very much, Tony.
I've been speaking with Mr. Tony Blake of Millenoki here at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona for 2013. I'm Tony Sklar with bnetTV.